Let's drop that super thanks and hit the gong, gang. Welcome back to Strangeville, to the channel, to some more comic book reviews. My name is K to the ST. I can't ever get it out right, gang. K to the STRANGE, back with another vidya for you, the viewer at home, the Strangeheads. How you doing? How you doing today? I hope you're doing good. If you're doing bad, I got a link down in the description to some mental health professionals for you to talk to, because we want you to come back and enjoy many great days here with us in Strangeville. One of my favorite cartoonists, the inspiration for this show on this channel, Ed Piskor, took his own life after being harassed by comic book professionals online, and I wish he would have seeked out the resources that were available to him. He would still be here, and he would be doing a show much better than the show I do. Gang, make sure you take care of your health, your mental, your physical, and let's get into it. I hate to be that guy. But we're going to discuss Love and Rockets from the Hernandez brothers. I hate to be the guy that rains on the parade. These guys are some of the best cartoonists the Western world has ever seen. They are your favorite cartoonist's favorite cartoonists, without a doubt. Gilbert and Jaime Hernandez have some of the best figure art in comics. They've been around for decades. They are darlings of the independent comic book world, and I'm here to tell you that their comic books, the content of their comic books, are absolute trash, and I hate to be that guy, but the art obviously is some of the best there is. I've got to keep on moving because they put a lot of nudity in there and sex in their comics, which is cool. Would be cool if they weren't. I don't want to call the Hernandez brothers leftoids, because I don't think that they necessarily are leftoids. I've watched a lot of interviews with the bros, and they're pretty cool, down to earth dudes. They're funny guys. So I don't want to put them in the category of the category of a Mark Waid or an Eric Larson or a Backdurf. If you watched the My Friend Dahmer episode and listened to me rant about these leftoids who spend all their time whining about politics with Trump derangement syndrome and just ruin half their audience with their online social media antics. The Hernandez brothers, I don't even know if they're on social media. They spend their time cartooning, and at first glance, these are amazing works of art, and they are. Like, the art is unfuckwithable. Like, they have some of the absolute best. Like I said, figure drawing of any cartoonist. They rival, I would say they rival Charles Burns and Dan Clowes in their attention to detail and their process. Their process is clean and absolutely gorgeous to look at. And then the content of their comics is just there's a little penis over there we need to cover up. For the YouTube censors, they like to blast my videos away, even though these are available in your local comic book shop. The YouTube overlords, for whatever reason, maybe now that Trump is in office and Elon Musk is going to be fucking some have some role in the administration. Maybe the rest of social media will understand what time it is and will relax their restrictions and not be so censorious. The thing that gets me about YouTube, here's a mini YouTube rant, gang. Skip ahead 3 minutes if you don't want to, if you want me to go back to the analysis of Love and Rockets, but it's pertinent to it because there's a lot of nudity in this book, and I can't linger on it because this video will get zapped. But YouTube uses the excuse that they don't allow nudity or what they call sexual gratification, which is the most like feminist fucking garbage you can imagine. Like, oh, male sexual gratification. Who gives a fuck, man? That's just part of human fucking nature, and that's why we gravitate towards art and entertainment. One of the reasons is for sexual gratification. Get over your fucking selves, you know. And the thing that bothers me the most about the YouTube censorship is that they claim that it's for the average, and you always have these fucking leftoid cucks that fucking that simp for corporate greed, right? It's like, well, it's a corporation, they have money to make, it's advertisers, you have to think about insurance and you have to think about advertising. The same exact advertisers that advertise on YouTube advertise on shit like Tubi. And Tubi's free, and you don't have to do any age verification. You can, if I put the nudity in this book all over this video, and YouTube flagged it and said this is adult content, so you have to be age verified to view it, I'd be like, okay, you should have to be age verified to view this stuff. But the same exact advertisers that advertise here on YouTube advertise on Tubi and all other of the streaming services, and there's nudity and sexual gratification galore in the movies and TV shows that the very same advertisers advertise on. So don't give me the fucking advertiser bullshit. It's just feminist censorship. It's just women at the top of YouTube that have decided that men's boners are evil, and men and any type of sexual gratification for men should be banned from the biggest fucking independent content platform on the planet. Fuck you. Fuck this. This is retarded. And I hope that Elon, being part of the Trump administration, is gonna turn the feminist fucking blood to ice and get them to back off their restrictions. I know it's a fucking it's a pipe dream, but anyway, Perla and Beatriz is the story we're going to take a look at today. And so we're back to the if you're scrubbing ahead trying to get away from my political rants, well, you probably just want to leave the channel, because the whole thing I always bring the reviews of these comics into some cultural perspective, right? That's the whole point of me being here. I use the popular comic books to then talk about culture and try to bring all of this into try to bring the culture war between the left and the right into focus, and do what I can to try to talk sensibly and kind of try to bring us back to some semblance of some center of normalcy with masculine leadership that keeps the Mark Wades and the Eric Larsons and the backdurfs of the world from spazzing out all the time and just work on your fucking books. So the Hernandez brothers, they take my advice, even though they've been making these books since the 80s when I was a child. But they sort of do that. They don't mouth off publicly that I know of. If they do, and I'm wrong about that, throw that in the comments. If they're just as if they're just as much a pair of slacktivist fucking spazzes as your Mark Wades of the world, let me know in the comments. But I don't think they are. They put their bullshit in their books, and so for decades now we've been told that men can't understand the female experience, like being you're taking a man. Writing a woman is taking away from the opportunity for a woman to express her lived experience. We talked about this before in a previous video. I forget which video that was, but we talked about Ed Piskor getting dunked on for doing Hip Hop Family Tree. The leftoids on Twitter told him that he was taking a black voice away by being a white guy doing a black history comic book. So in the same way, you would think the Hernandez brothers would take heat for being a couple of dudes that write these female characters, but they don't seem to take that same heat, maybe because they're Latino Californians, and there's nothing that the white liberal loves more than being the white savior and putting some ethnic group on a pedestal. So maybe the Hernandez brothers get a pass because of their ethnicity, that they're allowed to write these girls. I don't know, but they created this series called Love and Rockets. It's about two girls. And over time, and it started off awesome, right? Love and Rockets was this this mix of sci-fi and then like interpersonal drama, like family drama and social drama, and then like weird aliens and monsters and things. And then they were really culturally influential in the punk rock scene. In the late 80s. So they put a lot of punk rock references and a lot of punk band ephemera into their books, and it was popular. They had the book was fairly popular at the time. And as the 80s rolled into the 90s and the 90s rolled into the 2000s, the Hernandez brothers dropped the Rockets part of Love and Rockets, focused on the interpersonal drama, and proceeded to make the girls gayer and gayer and gayer, and now they're like middle-aged fat lesbians, and they lost their entire audience. In fact, the book was canceled, right? I think they did 50 issues or whatever and called it quits because they had completely lost their audience. They've never stopped making it. Of course, they still make mini runs and things like that, and of course, they're still influential cartoonists. I'm not saying they're not, but I'm saying that like they actually walked their brand into the ground by and what I'm they don't of course give a reason, like, well, yeah, we just don't have the readership to justify continuing, and Love and Rockets has only grown in popularity over the decades after its cancellation in the leftoid sphere. They love this. This is perfect for your lesbian wine ants. This is absolutely lesbian wine ant. In fact, these are lesbian wine ant characters in this in this story that I'm going to read you today. But as far as like a predominantly male readership, the readership of comic books, the main group of human beings that use their money dollars to purchase and keep comic books in business, they checked out of this a long time ago. Once they dropped the punk rock and once they dropped the sci-fi element to the book, they were left with lesbian wine ants, and that's just not a big enough demographic to justify continuing publication. So they literally burned their own product into the ground, which leftoids often do. As you see in modern comics, you'll get a Supergirl series or a Batgirl series or whatever. Some feminist leftoid writer artist team will get 6 issues on something, doesn't sell at all, and then they cancel it, move on to the next, move on to the next, move on to the next. That's just how this works. Love and Rockets is kind of a long form version of that. It's beloved by cartoonists and lesbian wine ants. So that's the other group that sort of keeps the flame burning for Love and Rockets is cartoonists. That's why I said at the beginning that this is the Hernandez brothers are your favorite cartoonists' favorite cartoonists, because people love to reference the style here. Like they are very influential on other cartoonists as far as the way they make comics. They have these really clean. They do really clean lines. Much different from, and I keep going back to this as an example, but it's a great example. I did an episode on Dora Hidoro, ironically by a woman, of course. We're talking about dudes writing chicks and a chick writing dudes, writing and drawing dudes. But we've talked before about the scratchy crow quill or dip pen style to get this really gnarly looking, awesome type of comic book art. And then you have the Hernandez brothers who do this really clean, probably brush or tech pen to get these lines. They're most are very uniform. The lines are there's a very little line weight variation to the Hernandez brothers' work. This is Jaime, I believe. Yeah, this is Jaime. We'll look at a Gilbert story in a second. But Jaime in particular is sort of credited with being a master of anatomy of the human form and using very few lines to get there. Right? It's just like one straight, perfect line, no line weight variation, and very few lines to get there, to get where he's going. You can tell this is a denim jacket, and there's no texture on it at all. It's only a few lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fold lines here, and you know she's wearing a denim jacket. It's crazy. He's absolutely a master of telling a visual story with the human body with as few lines as possible. Only the necessary lines are here. And I don't know how he works that. I've never watched Hernandez Brothers in process, so I don't know how much. I don't know if he goes real detailed on the pencils, like say a Frank Miller, for example. Frank Miller will render everything in pencil, and then his job when he switches to ink is to reduce everything down into chunky blocks, just as few lines as possible. But he first renders it out very detailed in pencil to make sure that it's all there and works anatomically. I don't know about Jaime. I don't know how much pencil work goes into this, or if his pencils are as reduced as his inks are. But I would assume he does a lot. There's a lot more labor that goes into the pencils, and then he just reduces everything down to the essential ink lines. But if he's not the best to do it, he's up there with the Charles Burns and with the Dan Klaus as far as doing these clean ink style cartoons. So that being said, they write like trash. They write like garbage leftists for wine. Their audience is a bunch of fucking lesbian wine ants, and you're about to see why. So here we have the whole point of this story is to gas up these aging women, and they give each other new nicknames, which is somehow empowering to these gassed up middle-aged aging women, which is just, I mean, can you think of stronger ego porn for the aging lesbian wine ant than a story like this? And keep in mind, this is a dude writing this, and it's insufferable, and he's clearly writing for that audience, and he clearly loves the accolades he gets from that Californian West Coast liberal elitist lesbian wine ant crowd. He loves it. So let's get into it. Excuse me a minute, will you, fellas? And she's got all these rich dudes behind her, pining over every single one of them, paying her and exclusively her attention. Like this is just a female power fantasy, just from panel number 1. It's a middle-aged female power fantasy from panel number 1. Excuse me a minute, will you, fellas? But of course, Miss Costigan. By all means, Miss Costigan. Hip. A penny century for your thoughts, Queerda. Do all your parties just have old guys? Maggie. So Maggie is her actual name, and she calls her Corrida for whatever reason. And then Maggie's gonna confess here in this comic that her name isn't even Maggie, and she doesn't even like being called Maggie, which is, again, it's just dumb woman shit that appeals to almost no one. But I'll stop giving my commentary, and I'll just read. I'm just going to read through the whole story. It's only a couple of pages long. Maggie, you need cheering up, Penny style. But I don't feel like watching Benny Hill. And so now we're in a convertible, expensive convertible, driving through the Hollywood Hills with a Eastern European bodyguard, big hunky Eastern European bodyguard. So what's your new bodyguard's name? I don't know yet. He doesn't speak a word of English or Spanish. So tell me if I'm wrong, but isn't your old bodyguard Pete the father of your upcoming child? Yes, but as you can see, Pete's no longer with us. Then he really hightailed it? Psh, I sent him back to his wife and kids. Herv's gonna play the daddy whether he likes it or not, that old goat. Tell the truth, did you plan to give Clarita a Mexican black sister or brother just like her? Once you've had black, you're never going back. Is two gonna be it? Or are you kidding? I'm gonna have so many kids the name Century's gonna become its own race. So I hope you brought a camera, because this is the last time you'll ever see me like this. In about a month, my belly's gonna swell up so big I'm gonna look like Jackie Gleason on a good day. Then, after my baby's born, it's every man for himself. Oh, you still got several good svelte years in you, queered. Nope, no more working out for me. I've had it. I'm going to let myself get so fat you're not going to recognize me. You think Herv's still going to want you? Are you kidding? Herv once told me he'd still want me if I somehow ended up looking like Shemp. Oh yeah, he only told you that because you look like you. This is insufferable. This is insufferable, gassed up fucking middle-aged woman shit. You guys will never give Herv a break, and none of you even came to our wedding. None of us was invited to your wedding. You're right, that was just a real fucked up time in my life. I only married Herv because I thought it would make things normal. But if it weren't for my babies and you guys... Penny, you don't have to. I have an idea. So she's knocked up with some black dude's baby that was married. And then she's gonna cuck her current, obviously, guy she only married because he's old and rich. She's gonna make him be the father of her black baby out of wedlock, and bragging that she's gonna do that over and over and over again and make this old white guy take care of these kids. This is just who is it, and she's that's a hero. That's somehow this is somehow a protagonist in this story. That's not an evil villainous. No. Am I the only one? Do you guys see what I'm saying? That these guys write insufferable fucking comics for lesbian wine ants? Is it just me? Am I the only one here? Am I the only one here that's not crazy? Do these guys not suck at comic book stories? This is terrible. Come on, Penny. Let me cheer you up, Maggie style. Oh, that's the other. I gotta switch back voices. Come on, Penny. Let me cheer you up, Maggie style. Maggie, your cousin doesn't look like she's winning very good. Yeah, but she loses a lot better since she turned heel. So this is one of the cool things. One of the cool things about the Hernandez brothers is that they write a lot of wrestling, but it's all female wrestling, of course, because fucking of course. The Hernandez brothers know punk rock. They know pro wrestling. They are ostensible and not on social media crying about Donald Trump 24/7. Ostensibly, these are cool dudes that could be writing really. If they had leaned into the Rockets side of Love and Rockets, they'd probably still be in publication to this day and not a canceled feminist lesbian wine ant rag, right? Anyway, that's it. She was rooked. The umpire didn't count up all the way up to 10. Let's go meet her in the back and see what's going on tonight. Great match, XO. Great match, so. You would have won if she didn't beat you. Parla, you look like you're ready to hit up the town. Sure wish I could go with you. Mario and the kids are back from Mexico, so I gotta be a good girl and go back to being a part-time housewife. Well, tell him I said hi and all that. What was that name she called you? Perla. That's what people call me when. That's what people call me who knew me way back when. Okay, I know you get Maggie from Margarita, but how do you get Perla from Maggie? Psh, Maggie was a joke name Lewis from Sal's garage gave me that Izzy thought was cute, and it just kind of stuck. You mean all this time you let us call you Maggie and you hated it? Oh, it's okay for you guys. I got used to it. Maggie's for skinny, short-haired punk chicks who have a knack for fixing machines. Oh no, that's her again. I'm sorry. Maggie's for skinny, short-haired punk chicks who have a knack for fixing machines. Well, dang, I'm calling you Perla from now on. So, should I prefer to be called Beatrice? Come to think of it, you don't look like a magpie anymore, Perlita. But you always look like a penny century, fatty or no fatty, Beatricita. Okay, so that's it. That's the entire fucking story. Is these two aging, middle-aged women, one bragging about cucking her rich husband with black babies, and the other, I guess, having fun hanging out with her. Well, I mean, that is the peak. That's peak fucking comics, bros. I mean, how enthralling was that? Don't you just fucking? I mean, I feel like my dick's 3 inches shorter after reading that fucking nonsense. So they always go back and forth in their books. So that's Jaime. Now his brother Gilbert, or as he calls himself, Beto. Maybe he's gonna have a better story here in the next one. No dream this time, Angel. Let's go. Hey, Jesus, suck me, F word. I don't think I could say that on YouTube without being demonetized. Just once. Hit me just once. Go forward, man. Don't look back. Farewell, my Palomoar by Beto in 1993, by the way. So this is a comic book from the early 90s. They were already insufferable with their bullshit. And so here our dude meets another dude. And we have gay sex on page number 2. It's gay sex. So we go from gassed up middle-aged women cucking their rich white husbands with black babies right into gay sex. I mean, I'm sorry. I hate to be that guy. I didn't make these comics the way they are. I didn't make these comics suck. These guys are maybe the best cartoonists that write maybe the worst comic books. I'm sorry. I don't want to be Debbie Downer and be Mr. Negative, but these comic books fucking suck. If you disagree, you think that's awesome, if you love reading comic books about rich Mexican women cucking white husbands with black babies, then you tell me in the comments that this is your jam. This is the kind of comics you like to read. I don't think anybody likes to fucking read these kind of comics, and that's why the fucking shit got canceled after 50 issues or whatever. Anyway, having said all that, if you have issues of Love and Rockets that you now realize suck and don't want in your collection anymore, you can send them my way to P.O. Box number 5, Cottage Hills, Illinois 62018. Kevin Strange, P.O. Box number 5, Cottage Hills, Illinois 62018. And if you have your own comics that you make about lesbian cuckolds who cuck their rich white husbands with black babies, you can send them my way. Like John Porkjohn, is that his name? Is that how you pronounce his name? I know that his name's in here somewhere. You gotta put your name on shit, man. He just doesn't put his name on there. Anyway, badass cartoonist here, John Porkjohn. I love his style. I love this fucking dude at the strip club. Ugly motherfucker. Got clown face titties on strippers. It's just this is that underground style that we love. These guys, all kinds of these guys send their stuff to the channel to be reviewed. I love it. far better than lesbian wine ant comics here. These are comics made by dudes, for dudes, about dudes, and fucked up shit, and we love it. This is this an anthology? Is this a bunch of different cartoonists? There's Paul Courtjohn, not John Porkjohn. It's Paul Courtjohn. Paul Courtjohn, right? Junked. You can send your comics my way. P.O. Box number 5, Cottage Hills, Illinois 62018. I actually have to run up there. I usually go on Saturdays, but I forgot to go. Some Saturdays I just forget to go up there and check the P.O. Box. So if you've got something that you sent me in the mail and you're wondering, like, when the fuck is he going to look at it? It's probably still sitting in the P.O. Box. I'm going to go by there actually in a couple of minutes after I finish this video. Before we go, we have to talk about our patrons. The lifeblood of the channel is our patrons, and you can become a patron for only $3 a month. You gain access to 20 years of comics, novels, and feature films from me, Kevin Strange. You get Kevin Strange's Space Worms. You get Count Kefula, the comic I just released last month. Death to Strangeville, Wizard of Gods, Too Many Dabs, and a host of other comics. Over a dozen novels, weird, bizarro novels, like Texas Chainsaw Mantis and Beetle Brain and all kinds of fucked up. Robama Apocalypse, if you're into that political tip, you want to see a giant robot Barack Obama battle a giant zombie made of zombies. You can read all that for only $3 a month. You get access to it, and you also get on the patron list, the shout out list, which we're going to read out right now. Thank you to our patrons, the lifeblood of the channel: Savage Splinter, Dark Lord Carrion, 666 Yoshi, Alien on LSD, Joseph Stark, Loud Pack Productions, Dave Baxter, Jason German, Mutant Minds, Joshua Wise, Jeremy Maddox, Nirvana, Andrew Varble, Darren Oni, and our newest patron, Raz. Thank you, Raz, so much for joining the Patreon. I hope that you enjoy all the content you see there. And gang, make sure before you get out of here, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. About half the people who watch these videos are not subscribed. They just get these videos served to them by the algorithm to their homepage, and then they watch the videos, whatever. Maybe they come back and watch more, maybe they don't. But if you hit the subscribe button, you'll be notified every day when I put up my daily videos. And we are almost to that coveted 1,000 subscribers that will allow me to fully monetize the channel and pour resources back into it to get better cameras, computers, microphones, and more comic books, of course, to review on the channel. When you do a daily channel, you got to have lots of comic books. You can't run out on the supply of the comics. So we're just over 50 subscribers away. We're right there. We're right there. That we're about to put the tip of the dick is about to go in. And as a thank you, I'm going to put my graphic novel Space Worms, 164-page graphic novel Space Worms, up for free on the Patreon. Link in the description below to the Patreon. And you won't have to even be a patron to read Space Worms. I'm going to put that up for free for an entire month, so you have plenty of time to download the digital version of it as a thank you for getting us to 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And that's going to do it for us today, gang. Love and Rockets ain't my bag. Just ain't my bag. I'll be reviewing a lot more of them. I don't know what the fascination is. The art is great. The stories are trash. Let me know what you think about that hot take in the comments below. And remember to stay strange.